And we are back after some technical difficulties. Oh my gosh, Curtis, how are you? I feel like it's been a while. So I
It
want to do a
has.
check-in with you and see
Yeah.
how you feeling, what we thinking and what's going on.
I'm pretty good. I can't complain. Life has been life and like we've been saying. This retrograde is real. I don't care if you don't believe in astrology or not. I'm here to tell you when retrograde hits, I feel it. So it's real to me. Um, I'm just trying to keep I'm trying to keep my balance these days. And I don't know. It does. Is it just me or does it feel like the world has changed, and not even just the world has changed, but like we've changed, and it's like just trying to figure out, okay, so what are we really doing right now? Okay, so it's not just me.
You know,
Okay, so it's not just
a
me.
friend a friend of mine said it best. She said that you have to be a little crazy to do this thing called life. And at first, when she said it, I was like, no, I don't think that's true. But then in hindsight, I was like, yeah, she right. Because you look over so many things in the highs, the lows, the trauma that we experience, especially
Mhm.
as Black people. You be like, yeah, you got to be a little crazy to keep here to that.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so important to have really great friendships and relationships with people because it brings you, it keeps you grounded. And I
I
don't
feel
think
you.
anybody, at least that I know of now. There's something else going on. Y'all send me a message to correct me, but I don't feel like, at least amongst our peers, that you included. I don't feel like we're lost souls. I don't feel like we're searching
Mhm.
for something, and we're happy with ourselves. Could things be better? Of course. I feel like for the
Yeah.
most part, we've figured out to navigate that space with our mental health a little bit. We're still working on it. But we be like, they can give me a couple of million. I might be all right. So not that money make things better, but we might be a little cooler, a little, and operate from that space. But I think that it's so important to have people around you that really help you navigate, because it does get tough out here. Like you said, this retrograde
Yeah.
and the eclipse this week, I
Mhm.
felt a level of heaviness. Curtis, I thought I had PMS and I was
Oh.
ovulating. I'm like, hey, my body is pissed at me because I won't give it a baby, and
Mhm.
I'm bitchy with other people because I ain't pregnant. And I'm like, it feels like I have PMS. And I told my coworker, I was like, anybody else just feel like they own bitch? And she was like, girl, I was arguing with my 5-year-old niece all day yesterday. What's up? I'm like, all right, cool. It ain't just me.
It's not just you. No, it was heavy, and I think it takes a different kind of person to really feel it and like be aware. I think everyone feels it, but if they're are they really aware of it? I think that's where it is. Because some people just be like, "Hey, it's whatever." And talking about mental health, like you were talking about, I feel like we that may be the only thing that we have, like compared to other generations. Like they were just, for lack of a better word, just bullshitting through and just pretending that they had it together when they really didn't. And at least we can go, girl, this ain't it. And we can work through it for ourselves, and at least we have a level of emotional acuity. Like at least I know what's going on, and I don't have to accept what this is. So I mean, we may have everything else against us, but we at least got that. You know.
Yeah, I think also that we understanding that now, it just, it makes things look a little different, and you are a little
Hmm.
more patient with people. And so you're like, half the time when something happens, I come to the realization that really don't have shit to do with me, and whatever is we got going on, that's a you thing. and you
Hmm.
have to, you have to figure that out. Because if I figure it out for you,
Hmm.
where's the lesson in that? Where does the change come from? And and once we realize a lot of the shit, a lot of the problems that you encounter with people really don't have nothing to do with you, you be like, this
Hmm.
life thing ain't too shabby. So and you become a little
Hmm.
more grateful and then
Yeah.
understanding, and just like I was telling you offline about some stuff, that was one of the conversations that I had with that person. I was like, a lot of this
Hmm.
mess, this don't have nothing to do with you. This is them. This is them. So your
Yep.
feelings are still valid because you're in a space of, you feel like you shortchanged yourself. And things
Hmm.
happen, we ignore red flags, but it's what's done is done, and now it's the next, take that next step, let's
That's it.
move on and keep climbing up to get to the higher
That's
ground.
it.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I brought you here today because we are going to talk about something, and I feel like everybody, probably my listeners and viewers, are like, you ain't talking about this project that just dropped. Well, I was in Tulum, so I was in Mexico, uh, trying to enjoy my time there because life was lifing, and I was trying to really be present. But baby, Cowboy Carter dropped. So many emotions. I felt seen. I felt
Hmm.
heard. I felt understood. And it was just beautiful. And so I wanted, before we dive into the tracks, I kind of want to talk about
Hmm.
a little bit of the commentary that you've even experienced listening to it and making sense of some of it, because I'm with you too. Um, I
Hmm.
believe that we know that Act Two was supposed to originally be Act One, and we
Hmm.
know that uh, I'm gonna grab the CD. We
Get it.
know that
Hmm.
this has a lot of Beyonce on it, even on the side. We're here.
Even on the sides, yes.
Even
Mhm.
on the sides, that is, this was supposed to be called Beyonce.
I'm glad you started me there because that really was the gag for me when I opened this packaging up. I was like, there is literally no mention of Cowboy Carter anywhere on this packaging. So I have to believe that really wasn't the intended title. It was I don't know at what point she decided I may need to make this a little less me centered because for those who don't know, I don't know how you don't know, but Beyonce would be her maternal family name. Her mother's maiden name is Beyonce. And if you ever heard her talk about her cousin Angie, her name's Angela Beyonce. Um, and it's like so to me it felt like she was really paying homage to her lineage. The more I listened to this, she talks about being the granddaughter of a moonshine man. She there's so much there's like little things all through this, and I'm like, to me it really felt like she really wanted to to explore that through the lens of Americana first and foremost, and then like I said on Instagram, when we recognized that Renaissance was really um dedicated to her uncle Johnny, who is Miss Tina's brother. It just connects it even further that it's about family, that it's about lineage.
Yeah, but see, even if it was entitled Beyonce, like, I don't think that it would have been more me. Like, when how you just connected that made total sense. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Because her exploring it, taking that opportunity to really explore, like you said, her lineage and all these different things that we know. Like, and if you know, you know, because we go back to the Destiny's Child era in this conversation.
Listen. Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
Beyonce has always been very vocal about where her name comes from, how they got
Hmm.
Beyonce, the typo, all of that. And then for people to be in the comments saying, "Oh, you spelled your name wrong." And I'm like, "Yeah, y'all new here. And so y'all haven't
Right.
done y'all history or research. And then even
Right.
in that, them, being able to get birth certificates, because we know what that was like for Black people,
Hmm.
not being treated, we were treated as subhuman, and
Right.
things that we were able to finally have access to, you didn't question it or make
Hmm.
somebody correct something, because that could get you killed. So
Yeah.
knowing that, and then you see this red, white, and blue, but it's not the actual
Mhm.
colors of the American flag. They're a little deeper. So this is rooted in a lot of kind of like bloodshed when you think about that,
Hmm.
especially that red.
Hmm.
And it says it speaks volumes, because even if you look at the Cowboy Carter cover, it's the same thing. Those colors,
Hmm.
those same exact colors
Hmm.
are there, and it represents so
Hmm.
much for us. And I'm getting chills talking about it, but it's literally, oh, y'all done played in our faces for so long that so many of our own people don't even know where this comes from. And I will say another good thing about Webster is that I took a history of rock and roll class, and the professor there was
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
vocal about how rock and roll was heavily rooted and came from Black culture. The
Yeah.
spirituals that our ancestors sang as slaves, and where that came from.
Hmm.
That he said that, as well as country music, is rooted in
Yes.
Negro spirituals, and we started that.
Mhm. I was gonna say I get flack all the time on social media every time I say there is nothing American that did not start with Black people. Folks look at me like you're crazy. I'm like, no, literally, there is nothing that is innately American that did not start with Black people. Like you said, country, jazz. I say jazz, hip hop, house. All these things came from Black people, and then it just rippled out. And a lot of times white people just said, "Oh, this is ours." And once they said it was theirs, then it was like we never existed, and that's mind blowing to me. And because the way history has literally whitewashed us out of so many things that are inherently us. You know what I'm saying? And like when you were talking about the typo thing, I I didn't even think about it till Miss Tina had post about it on Instagram. I think earlier this year. I was like, that's why my last name is my last name. My last name is Conrad, but it was Conrad at some point, and someone chose to make a typo, and part of my family just said, you know what, we're gonna rock with that. And then there's another branch of the family who actually changed it back to Conrad. I found out in Mississippi there actually are Conrads who changed it back to Conrad. Yes,
And see,
but I'm
it's
sorry.
like
This isn't about me. This is about me.
no,
Me.
no, no. That's like crazy, because in my family, people always think mine is a typo because there's an S. And it's like, no, no, that's what
Mhm,
it is. And then I have a cousin
mhm,
that got sick of people saying something to her about it for so long
mhm,
that she dropped the
mhm.
S. And I was like, why are you
Really?
giving people what they want? And I was like, lovings with an S, like it's lovings. That makes you unique. You are supposed to stand out. You are supposed to be different. Why are you making yourself common to appease white people? So
Mhm,
yeah. And it's crazy. Like she's the only cousin that did that. Her son didn't even do it.
mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
But it's all the time. People are consistently trying to box us and tell us who we are, and that
Mhm,
ain't it. So, and people try to romanticize and play down what happened in slavery, and it was very gruesome. That's why, you know, white people clearly found out, like, oh, our ancestors, we got to remove it. No, it's like that's what I did. So how about you try to rectify it, and give us some
right.
reparations, make it right. Yeah, give everybody else that shit, but this
That's the
this
part I
is
don't understand.
the devil trying to steal my joy on a Sunday. But that's what
Not
like
today.
this is about, because you know
Mhm.
we start with American Requiem
Yeah.
and her saying, Ha! This ain't what you think this is. In the
Mm.
first song on this track, this album. Man. And then
Are you
you
ready to get
even
into
say
it?
how you say what?
I said, you ready to
Curtis?
get into these tracks? But you would go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. You can.
You know, I think I challenge, and what I love about this era too is the deep dives that people are taking in regards to this genre. Because I saw a really dope clip on TikTok, even about Daughter, and how
Mm.
you can. This goes back to like a black opera singer, like the first black opera singer to perform at Carnegie Hall, and how they
Mm.
talk about how they came up with the chitlin circuit and what spaghetti really means and all these different things. So
Mhm.
I mean, as a whole, it's just kind of mind blowing. And Beyonce, and I know she has a team, and I want to give the team credit too, because I feel like we always just say Beyonce,
Okay.
but we can give the people
Mhm.
around her, the researchers, the people that did a little bit of that extra
Mhm.
work that
Mhm.
brought this project together, because it's just I mean, mind blowing. And Beyonce is a Virgo. I give y'all a lot of flack,
Yes.
because y'all, but also
I was
in
about
that
to
was
get to this, but go ahead.
I could give y'all credit, because some of y'all Virgos can, we know y'all
Oh,
are perfectionists, y'all want things to be a certain way, but this makes sense as a Virgo. Like, these first two acts
there we
make
go.
so
Yes.
much sense, because Virgos be calculated,
So much.
and you want to drop it like a certain way, and it got to be this and that. And so I was like,
Mhm.
this makes
Mhm.
perfect sense. Like, when you start to break down what is what, it makes sense. And so shout
Yeah.
out to y'all. Shout out to y'all.
I actually, I actually wanted to talk about exactly that. I wanted to talk about that because my thing with that that is where I think my love of Beyonce really kicked in, is when I realized how much of a Virgo she was. And we talked about this offline too. It was like, you low key converted me to the Beehive back in, what was that? I don't know, with 2000, what, six? I don't know, but whatever time it was, the B Day era. That's what it was. Because I think it was you and Vernon was like, she's putting out a video for every single song, and I said, what? She's putting out a video for every single song, and they just dropping red. And you would run in my office and be like, "Oh my God, a new video dropped today. Go look." And we would go look, and I'd be like, "Oh, wait a minute." And I want to say, for me, I think it was somewhere between Greenlight and Kitty Cat. I was like, oh, okay, she working on a different level. She working on a different level, and I love who fucks with this. You know what I'm saying? But to talk about her Virgo ness, that was the one thing I think that really grabbed me over the last, I'm gonna say, 3 or 4 albums, is that you can tell she does deep dives on everything. When she wanted to do Afrobeat, she deep dives. She said, "Let me find the artists that are like heavy in this and are popular right now. Let me hear the sounds, the textures, the language. I'm gonna get that." When it's time to do house, or dance music in general, I'm want to hear it all. I want to hear techno. I want to hear new wave. I want to hear disco. I want to hear it all, and then I want to filter those into me and make them how I would make them. And the thing that's so dope to me about it, especially about Renaissance, is that you can tell that she looked at, from like the '70s to now, through all those decades, as far as how dance music works, to the point that she was very like, Cozy is a very contemporary house. Like, that is very much some Chicago house you would hear right now. Even the people she had on that song were people you would hear in Chicago house right now.
Well,
Go ahead.
the producers, shout out to Dave Giles
I'm
and
saying,
Corrice.
I'm saying
Corrice from
we,
St.
we
Louis,
might
and
actually
Dave
know
is from
them.
Chicago. Yeah, I could talk about
Yep.
my people that are Grammy winners now. Shout out to them. Shout out to my girl Jahan. That's Dave's wife. I grew up with Jahan. And that's
Mhm.
honestly, the love that Cuffit got, I felt like should have been for Cozy, because
Mhm.
the moment I heard, not even just because, oh, your people, no, no, no. Cozy is just between that and Alien Superstar, that transition to those
Mhm.
two, like, I don't
Yes.
think that we
Mhm.
gave Cozy the love that it really, really deserved. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, with the Wetter remix of Cuff It, I really don't listen to Cuff It like
Mm.
that no more. I have to listen to the Wetter version. I just love that.
Uh,
I
uh,
love it.
now I'm starting to think we should do a deep dive on Renaissance before we even go to to Cowboy Carter, but we'll maybe another day.
So,
What
you know,
was
I think with
you
Renaissance, with Renaissance, it was just a moment in time that I think that was just so epic. And I understand why ultimately she released it first. But you know, a
Yeah.
lot of people are saying how, you know, with that at the end of Amen, and then if you cue up I'm that girl, it goes into it. But you have an
Mhm.
interesting take too. I don't know if we should save it for when we do the tracks or if it's just your observation because Curtis, you're a musicologist. Like you sing, you perform, you perform with so many amazing people. You really are. And
Uh-huh.
I didn't even peep that. You're gonna tell the people what you peeped.
Okay, if you listen to the end of Blackbird, it has the same sound that's at the end of Amen. Actually, it's at the beginning of Amen too, but it's at the end of Amen that cues up um, I'm that girl. And when you know the history of Blackbird, Paul McCartney talks about this now, is that it was about the civil rights movement. Girl, bird was girl, so Blackbird was black girl singing in the dead of night. He was talking about black women dealing with the civil rights struggle in America. And then the at the end is, like I said, the same one that's at the end of Amen. So if you go from ding at the end of Blackbird to I'm that girl, it actually makes sense. You know what I mean? Like if that was the original ending, if that was the original ending, because to me that's what it felt. That's what I guess I should say. To me, when I heard that, I said, "What if this was the original ending of the album? What if American Requiem was added and Amen was added after the fact? Because it's very obvious that a lot of stuff was added later in the game. After I think after Renaissance came out, it was like,
No, for sure, because you know, I haven't opened mine yet, and
uh,
I
oh, well, let me
don't want
show
to
you
open it, but I'm gonna
because
open it. But you know, it's missing tracks. You know, when you play it
but
all the way through, just like the
okay, but
vinyl.
here's the gag. Here's the gag though. There is literally nothing inside with credits or acknowledgments. There's literally nothing. It is that and then a QR code to take you to the track listings on her website. And that is when I realized that the track listing on the album, the limited edition of the album, is is incomplete. It's missing 4 tracks. And when I
Mhm.
realized it was missing 4 tracks, that's when I said, okay, what else got changed? And that's
Yeah,
actually what sent me on this spiral of like, well, wait a minute, because like
yeah.
I even said about Yaya, Yaya to me felt like it was the real opener of the album, and then she went back and said, no, I think I want to do something a little different. But the way Yaya starts, she's talking about the rodeo chitlin circuit. Welcome to the rodeo chitlin
Mhm.
circuit. And then in the
Yeah.
like before she really kicks in, she spells Beyonce, Beyince. You know, and then she does it again later on in the song. It's like if the album's name was Beyonce, it would make sense to start
It
with
makes
Yaya.
sense how Yaya was the opener, but then Yaya is one of the songs that's missing. At
And
least it
that's
is
what
on the
gagged me. I
vinyl.
was like, well, wait a minute. It's missing on this too. It's miss. What is? Let me see if I can think through this. It's Yaya, Spaghetti, the Linda Martell show, and Oh Louisiana are missing from this CD. And I think it's the same thing on the vinyl as well.
The vinyl it has 5 tracks missing, but I off the top of my head I can't think of the fifth track. And then but I think you know they said that so on the digital version is much longer, but
Mm-hmm.
so they said that this could have went to print 10 to 6 months ago.
I believe that too.
So, so which is how we didn't get those. And that's why I don't once I saw that
Mhm.
article. And I was just looking up Cowboy
Hmm.
Carter, like, different takes, and then came across an article that said that, people was complaining about tracks being missing, on the physical copies versus the digital copy.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh
Hmm.
shoot, like, let me really not open this. And sidebar, everybody know how I tussle with my Renaissance box, and I never got it. I just want to show y'all. I got my box this time. Is Renaissance really almost 2 years old?
Yeah, we
Renaissance is
creeping on it. I
almost,
want to say what it'll be like June or July. It'll be
yeah,
2 years.
June, it'll be 2 years old. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into these tracks, Curtis. We start out with the great American Requiem. And like we said earlier,
Yes.
it is just vocally, the layering and everything in it. I love this song. I love American Requiem. And she starts out, we're gonna read a few of the lines. It says,
Let's go.
nothing really ends. For things to stay the same, they have to change again. Hello, my old friend. You changed your name, but not the ways you play pretend. American Requiem. Them big ideas are buried here. Amen.
Mm.
Man, if that ain't the black experience,
Yo, girl. She.
as what we go through on a daily historically, and it's like y'all try to dress shit up and make it seem like these things never
Yeah.
happen, and y'all still do the same bullshit today. It is just
Yeah.
dressed up
Just gave it a
differently.
different name. That's she. What this is one thing that always blows my mind. When people act like Beyonce is not a thinking person, I'm like, you don't come with something like this and not be a thinking person. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that she addresses things in a way that you almost can't be offended. It's like, if you know, you know, and if you don't, well, okay, we'll just listen to pretty music. But speaking of pretty music, girl, when I like you said, when you hit play, the first thing you go is these vocals, ma'am. Like Beyonce is, I said this after the first listen. She's at the top of her game. Like literally, she's doing things vocally I've never heard her do on this album, and it starts here. It starts in this song. It's like you said, the stacking is so flawless. The clarity of her voice in almost every part of it. Like when she's singing in her like the deep, like the vocal fry, I'm look at here, and I'm like, it's still clear as fuck. It's like people don't do that. There's things that she does in this album that I'm just like, and you telling me you actually recorded this before Renaissance? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this came before Renaissance. I'm like, because this is actually far more complex. But yes, I'm with you. Beyonce is that girl. Yeah.
And you kind of feel, but you also feel the pain in the lyrics. But then she, like you said, she's singing it so like flawlessly, but it's just, you still can connect to it, and you hear, because she's trying to change it up when she goes into the chorus, because you think it's about
Mhm.
to be this ballad, and she hit us with, there's a lot of talking going on,
Bass in
and
it. Yes.
and she's just like down there and down in the delta in the
Mhm.
in the vocals, and you hear that raw raspiness that she
Yeah.
recent was it recently that she talked about how they was making her growl and stuff when she first started singing, and was in the recording studio when she was like 14 or 15, and she damaged her vocal cords, but it created this layer of like rawness. And so you feel like when she says, can we stand for something, now is the time to face the wind, it's giving a little come together.
Mhm. Yes. Oh, girl. Oh my gosh. I I keep having like these like, oh my god, meltdown moments, because when you really listen, she touches on so many things. Like, yes, come together is one thing. I heard there's also, I can't think of the name of the song. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. The it's very much patterned after that too. It's in there. But there was something else. I was. Oh, that's what I was saying. The way she was using like that bottom part of her voice down, and to me that started sounding like Sly Stone. Yeah, Sly Stone, and I was like, she's so conscious of what she's doing while she does it, and we just think, oh, that's just pretty. It's like, no, she's referencing all these things to present a big idea. It's so crazy. But continue,
it
because
really,
I'm going to keep doing.
yeah, no, I'm with you on that for sure. And I'm just like, it is in the second verse, she kind of goes into her lineage again. You know, she says, look at there, look
Hmm.
at in my head, the grandbaby of a moonshine man, Gadsden, Alabama, got folks in Galveston, rooted in Louisiana. Used to say I
Yep.
spoke to country,
Hmm.
and the rejection came and said I wasn't country enough, said I wouldn't saddle up. But if that ain't country, tell me what is. Plant my bare feet on solid
What
ground for
is?
years. They don't know. They don't know how hard I had to fight for this. And that is a direct hit at the Country Music Awards when she performed Daddy Lessons with the
Yep.
Chicks, and then they put her on
Hmm.
the IG that night, but then wiped it off of all their social media platforms because white
Yep.
people were so mad about it. And
Mm.
there was someone there. This, and I don't know what his job is, but he said that literally when Beyonce came out, a white woman in front of him stood up and said, "What the fuck is this black bitch doing here?"
I
Like,
don't doubt it. I don't doubt
it,
it.
Daddy Lessons was now okay. It's crazy. Daddy Lessons was like 7 years ago, seven, and it's like, how is this still a thing? How are y'all saying I'm not country when all I, because shoot, even Matthew has spoke on Beyonce being really country, and if it was something that really required a
Hmm.
lot, he wouldn't. He was like, you look, you look country.
And people, we've said it even like going back to the Destiny's Child years. That's part of the reason why Beyonce doesn't like doing interviews because people act like she's simple just because she talks with a country twang. And it's like, I'm from Texas, my people from Louisiana, but you're gonna tell me I'm not country? First, you tell me I'm country, then you tell me I'm not country. That make it make sense. And what it is when you get down to it, it's not your white version of country. That's really what the issue is.
It's not dressed up and packaged a certain way, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving y'all raw, I'm giving y'all realness, and y'all don't like that. It requires them to do a little bit of self work and reflection. And now people don't like putting that mirror up
Hmm.
because you got to sit with the reality of what you've done and who you are, and America doesn't like that.
But that's what she's saying. It's time. It's time to face the wind. That's literally what she said. It's like, y'all. At some point, you gonna have to acknowledge your bullshit. Sometime you're gonna have to repay the sins of the father, as she says later on in the album. It's got to happen.
Yeah, and I think what's dope is that when she goes back to the, it's kind of, we go back, flip back in to the ending of the song, which
Hmm.
goes, references the beginning, and how
Hmm.
it is saying, and it's you realize that it's a prayer. And she says, when I sang the song of Abraham, when the angels guide and take my hand, goodbye to what has
Hmm.
been a pretty house that we never settled in, a
Yes.
funeral for fair weathered friends. Fair weather.
Hmm.
I'm the
Yeah.
one to cleanse me of my father's sins. American
There.
Requiem, the big ideas are buried here. Amen. Which is, like I said, like the verses are a prayer. Uh, and then which is also in a sense, it's like covering this album when you think about it in hindsight a little bit, which is really, really dope. And because we go into Blackbird and we
Yes.
kind of did our Blackbird deep dive a little bit, but
But
you get you
we can still
get
talk
you
about it.
get Tanner, and you get
Hmm.
who else is on Blackbird? You get Brittany Spencer, Tierra Kennedy,
Um,
and Raina
yeah.
Roberts. So all black
Yes.
country singers singing on this track. And like you said, because of what Paul McCartney wrote. And it's crazy because it's like a lot of people have been like waiting for Beyonce to do covers of their shit. Because we're gonna get to
Yeah.
Jolene. But Paul McCartney to say, I was honored, flattered, like could not wait to
Hmm.
hear this version of Blackbird because I wrote it for black women. I saw what was happening, during the civil rights movement, how they were treating the black, how they were treating
Hmm.
black people in general, trying to integrate, like schools and all this stuff, and how people were just
Hmm.
so, but in that too, though that's beautiful, it kind of gives a sense of false reality because globally, historically, people have been so shitty to black people.
Hmm.
Because black people, even to this day, still they experience a lot of racism in England. So yeah, you wasn't just writing
Yes.
it for
And
us, you were writing it as a whole. Like, so
right.
don't just say it as a whole because we
Hmm.
we hear the stories even now about what
Yes.
happens over
Yes.
there.
What happened even over there? Why at that time? That's the crazy part is that people. I don't know if you saw Black Cake, the series on Hulu. But this it was a woman from Jamaica. She goes to the UK, and the racism she sees, and this is like with the 60s, 70s, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy. And it's like, but they don't ever want to act like. And I think that's the biggest frustration I have with white people is that they never want to acknowledge what they did. It's like, girl, it's right. It's right there. Just be like, yep, that happened. My grandparents were horrible people. Yep, that happened. But having to do that would also have to acknowledge what you're doing currently, and I think that's the real issue when it comes to that. Go ahead.
No,
No,
I
you go
was
ahead.
gonna
I want to hear your
say
thought.
to answer you because that they have to force change to happen. They would have to really change policy if they
Mm-hmm.
acknowledged it.
Hmm.
So that requires, again, back to American Requiem, that requires a lot of work. And it's just like, nah, y'all living in a glass
Yeah.
house throwing stones, and y'all foundation is shitty. So that nobody wants to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That she said a pretty house that we could never call a home. Is she? It's right there. But talking about Paul McCartney a little bit more, I saw online that he how can I put this? They actually used his original backing tracks. So the guitar being played, that's Paul McCartney. The toe tap that's in it, that's Paul McCartney too. They actually took the Beatles' original instrumental and then just sang everything over it and added stuff to it.
Wow. Okay, so now that's really dope. That is really dope. And I'm gonna say this:
Mhm.
that's one of my favorite parts of the song, the toe tap. I just Blackbird is just so beautiful to me
Mhm.
because I feel
It is.
as like it's polar opposite to a certain degree of American Requiem, where you get all this stacking, all these different, layers of music coming together, and you just get rawness here. But the rawness of it took me back to Forward on Lemonade. To
Mm.
think about how raw
Mhm.
Forward was. It was just simple, her singing over the piano, and
Mhm.
that was just it. No,
Mhm.
no, sorry, not Forward, Sandcastles. Actually
Okay.
both.
Oh yeah. Now,
Kind of
well, yeah.
both.
Well, you know what? If you're really honest about it, I feel like there are phases in Beyonce's discography where she really delves into the grit, and I think we first saw it on Four because she was just like growling on everything and just trying to be gritty, and then I think she backed off of it for a while. Then I think she tipped again back into it on Lemonade, And I think that somewhere between there and Renaissance, she found the balance. If just thinking as a vocalist, to me, she found the balance of like, oh, I can do this without first killing my throat or making it sound forced. And she's mastered that. And yeah, I would agree with you. The way it starts and the way it ends is so raw, but at the same time so controlled. She is like, I hate this because I feel like I'm just riding her nuts. But when I tell you this woman, she's found it. She is literally, and if she retires after Act Three, all I can say is, well, she put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Because she put in the work. My only gripe with Blackbird, my only gripe with Blackbird is how she squeezed the four girls in on one verse. I feel like she could have gave them a little more space in the song. That's my only gripe. Get like a line.
Because yeah, it's like a line, and it's really, yeah, because somebody is saying Blackbird is singing in the dead of night. Then another person is take these broken rings and learn to fly. And then all together say learn to fly all your life. That's somebody line, and you were only waiting for this moment to arise. And then Beyonce repeats it, and then that's just it.
Right.
And for me,
and I'm like
like I was with you. I was like, dang, man. But also she probably looking at it as just like a nod to them, because it's like it's kind of like a song to themselves. Like you were only waiting for this moment to arise, because she knows everything is about to change for them the moment this drops, and it did.
Look at you. It did. Oh my gosh. And that kind of taps into something that Crystal said on the read. She was like, the way Beyonce kind of bookends it is like she's kind of like mothering them. It's like she's protecting them. So she's like, I got the front end of it. And if y'all got shit to say about them, I got the back end of it. So that makes perfect sense. Like she was like, I'm setting y'all up. I'm mothering y'all. I'm protecting y'all, which we get into in another like 2 songs from now. But I'm setting y'all up for success by presenting you to the world. But I'm also saying, watch what you say about these girls. That's pretty much what I got from that. From that.
Yes, and I got that, which then leads us into 16 Carriages, which is kind of Beyonce speaking to her inner child, her inner self.
Yes.
What do we call that? Self-work? When you are nurturing and feeding your inner child, what is that formally called? That's a psychological.
Like
you say
self-parenting? Or parenting your inner child? Self-parenting or parenting your inner child?
They call that shadow work. Shadow work. That's what it is.
Yeah, shadow work. Well, shadow work
So
is a little deeper.
This gives me that.
Uh-huh.
What'd you say?
I say shadow work goes a little deeper because shadow work goes into like straight up like embracing the parts of yourself that you do not like. But to me that it kind of sits more in like parenting yourself, gentle parenting, I think some people call it. But no, I hear what you're saying. It's like she very much is like looking back at what she had to go through as a 16-year-old, be, like another friend said, being the breadwinner of the family. Like literally, the entire family dynasty is on your shoulders.
Because also in this, Curtis, to piggyback, this has to work. And I remember when this first dropped, and I was explaining it to a friend about what it meant. We know that her dad uprooted his life, his job. He had a great, paying job, and especially at that time frame, and that afforded them so many things. Tina had her shop, and his kid expressed interest in wanting to be this singer, this performer, and so he was like, "Shit, my baby got talent. She better than half these people. We about to go hard on this, so it has to work." And so, like you said, she says, "I see Mama praying. I saw Daddy grinding." And we know what that was like because they separated at one time because of this. Because then it shifts where Tina is the, the breadwinner bringing home the bacon from her salon because Matthew has quit. So we know that
Mhm.
caused a strain on her family. And so Beyonce is kind of looking at her younger self and seeing how chaotic things have gotten. And so it's like, I got to go even
Mhm.
harder. I'm overworked. I'm
Mhm.
underpaid,
Mhm.
but we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And which speaks to
Yeah.
also we see that as we go through the verses,
Mhm.
how quick she wrote this, and this was probably the first track that she probably could have wrote in
Mhm.
response to the CMA, the CM, no, was it this, whatever, the Country Music Awards, yes, the
Yeah,
CMAs,
man.
because
Yes.
she mentioned her age
Yeah.
at that time.
Right, because she did say 38 summers. Yeah.
Mhm.
They talked about how this song is kind of patterned after a prison work song, and when you hear it, because wait, choo, choo, and it's like, and then she just kind of like works over that beat, and it's like it's more rhythmic than it is melodic. You know what I mean? And when you hear it in that mind frame, it's like this again. You're saying so much without actually saying it. You know what I'm saying? It's a work song about being a teenager working for the family that eventually becomes a grown woman working for the family. It's amazing. To me, I'm like, this woman really put her foot in this
It really
because
did,
she.
and go ahead. Sorry.
I was like, because I was thinking about what you were saying about that she kind of puts her age on it. Talking about it's been 38 summers and I'm not in my bed. I'm back on the back of the bus in the bunk with the band, going so hard. Now I miss my kids. Overworked and underwhelmed and overwhelmed. I was like, girl. So she really just went from being a child losing her childhood to a mother not really getting to experience her motherhood.
Yep.
Mm,
Yeah. And then you reflect on everything as a whole, in that the last in the bridge, she says her innocence was gone at 15. It was, gone astray. Had to take care of home
mhm,
at an early age. Saw
mm,
mama crying. Saw daddy lying. And we know what that's about.
Lord.
That is
Mhm,
writings on the wall era, when they first
mhm,
initially filed for divorce. Because those, if you know, we're not gonna put our people business out there, but you can Google it. We're not gonna talk bad about Matthew on here because Matthew is a pillar to her
mhm.
success. So I'm not gonna do him like that today.
Yes.
Um, but she
Right. If
said,
she not
I,
holding grudges, we not holding grudges either.
yeah, and I think,
No, I said if she not holding grudges, we not holding grudges either.
yeah, I'm not listen. That ain't my daddy. So,
Right.
but like, it's just a part of the story. And I think she says,
Mhm,
had to sacrifice and leave my fears behind. It is, as again, she's 15/16,
mhm,
and at that age, I think about where I was. I was a freshman in high school, dreaming to be where I am now, but also in that's being, you're afraid, and her pushing through that fear. And ultimately, at some point, we all get to that point where it's like, okay, I got to work through this, even though it's a little thing on my shoulder say, oh,
mhm.
don't do that. You never know what might happen on the other side. And then you're just like, oh, bitch, shit, and walking forward and proud with your head up, regardless of what the outcome may be. So I love that line so much. She said, for legacy, if it's the last thing I do, you'll remember me because we got something to prove. Man, sorry, Beyonce, about to get me. The eyes, they're watering. And it's hella relatable. And he's just like, oh my God, Beyonce, like
Mhm.
Beyonce. And then we slide into, protect. She's like, in your memory on the highway, the truth still see our faces when you close your eyes. And then we hear, uh we go into protector, and we hear blue,
Protector.
not blue,
And you
roomy.
got Romy.
Listen,
Romy.
Rumi, mommy, can you sing this lullaby? And then it goes into
Yeah.
our jam. You got it. Start it off, friend.
I want to say is I think it's a very interesting what's what I'm looking juxtaposition that we go from her as the daughter to now her as the mother at that point. And what I get from it to when I heard the song the first time, it's like she understands what her mother went through, I think on a very real level. So now when she, as a mother herself, she man, she just really she goes there with it. Like it's like, I'm working, I'm living as your protector. And even though you got your own light and but you're not ready to shine it just yet, I'll be your projector. And I was like, ma'am. And I'm like, I it's interesting because my thing is no matter who you are or where you've lived, there's some part of that song that touches you. You know what I'm saying? Either as the child or as the parent. You get it. Like parents sacrifice so much, which is part of the reason why I didn't want no kids because I was like, you got to give up so much to raise a child right. You have to really. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like my dreams. Fuck those. That's literally what it's like sometimes to be a parent. And so I'm like, "Ooh, girl, you over here crying for real. I'm like,
You know, it's crazy because when we talked about it, like listening to Crystal talk about it and just hearing the pain in her voice, and not
mhm,
feeling like that.
mhm,
And then I think about it on the adverse of me, like for me and Janelle, our mom passed away so young. She was 3, I was 6 months.
mhm,
And then had my
mhm,
aunt Lucretia be our mom, like that's my mother.
mhm,
And
mhm.
it just take on I didn't know this was gonna happen. But like
That's all right though.
her stepping into that role for her sister,
Mhm,
and even
mhm,
spiritually, my mom being a projector for me.
mhm,
So
mhm,
the first time, like when I tell you this came on, I was like, boo hoo, snot crying. And talking
yeah,
about it, it just hit different. And like you said, like everything looks different for each person. And even like I cried for Crystal, like having empathy for people like
mhm,
empathy and just I don't know Crystal,
mhm,
but hearing her say that, and then hearing what Kid Fury was saying, and then when you talk to different people about it, I'm like, man, like
mhm.
lyrically, I was telling Daryl this. I was like, I love B Day. I think B Day is the cornerstone of Beyonce's career. But this
Mhm.
sonically, lyrically, is a close. It's up there, and I love Renaissance. After
Mhm.
Amen, it's queued up to start. And this era, like I haven't listened to anything. Okay, that's a lie. I listened to Amarion. Amarion got a mixtape. That Loki was really good. Uh,
Okay.
but but on but this, oh my God, this first act within Country Cowboy, we calling it Beyonce because that's
Mhm.
all we see. And I
Listen,
really
that's
wish
all
that was the
right.
name.
I really
I
do
really
too.
wish that was the name. And but I think that it's just like you said, it goes from her just being this kid and like kind of feeding her inner child, and then it switches to her being because her and Tina, like they freaking she's written so lost your mind. Do you know that unreleased track? You must have lost your mind, and then she talks about
No, I
ring.
haven't heard that.
Oh, baby, you gonna love Lost Your Mind.
Mhm.
She's like, you must have lost your mind. Like just talking about like this man being like crazy and her
Mhm.
walking away from this man. And I'm like, oh, that's for Tina. And then she
Mhm.
has Ring Off, which is literally
Mhm.
for her mama. Like she has so
Mhm.
many early tracks that is about her mama. And and I get that because I think we forget that our parents are human.
Yes.
And and I think that took I just realized that a couple of years ago, even about my own father and us going through our own tussle where we didn't speak for almost a year. And then the mother tried to die. And then, I had to take him off the block list. But I love my dad. And,
Uh-huh.
and I just think about that as a whole, like, forgetting that, and then kind of we having to give our parents grace, even when we don't want to. And so
Yeah.
projector, like for me, it's just layered in so many ways. So it's just shit. God dang it, Beyonce. I said I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna cry.
She she she's in her bag. And but I get what you're saying though. I feel like the once you get past American Requiem, it gets very personal. It gets very intimate. And it's like to me, and that's why I really think Beyonce really made sense. Because if we just look at the first, like you said, the first act of this album, it is very much about what me to you as a parent or as a child or me to you as a spouse it's very much that. And I ooh, she she's a mature songwriter at this point. She's a mature vocal producer at this point, you know what I'm saying. um I don't even want to go into these lyrics because I ain't trying to cry with you, but what I do like, if we if Protector was about Rumi, My Rose is about Sir. And people have even said that if you put the CD in your vehicle, it actually comes up as My Sir, not My Rose, as the title. And so to me, that's what I got from that. It was like she wrote Protector for Rumi, which is why Rumi's at the top of it, and then My Rose is really for Sir. And the words to that, when baby, I was like, well, I listened to it yesterday. I was like, you didn't have to do this. How many times have you let yourself get you down? Let yourself get you down right there. And it's like I was like, Beyonce, you didn't have to come for me like that. But because I really, how many times have you let yourself get you down? But she even said, but so many roses, none to be picked without points. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
and I
go.
think, and also I think that we, when she says, "So be fond of your flaws, dear," is the I can see how for sure,
Mm,
because we know that one of when she had the twins, one of them was intubated like
mm,
longer uh
mm,
than the other, and then there's that dialogue around what's going on with Sir. We never see him, which would just be
mm,
like, people be human and kids, you like have different things going on where,
mm.
but whatever it is, it's none of our business. And she'll tell us when she gonna
Exactly.
tell us. But that I felt like that line was very personal on so many levels, and
Mm,
even like you said, like it spoke to us, like, how many times have you let yourself down? So many roses, but none to be picked without thorns. Like, baby, life is
yep.
going to life, and it's gonna get you. But we can cut them thorns,
Mm.
and we
Yeah,
gotta
but
keep
I
pushing.
mean, but you gotta face the thorns, you know. You
Yeah,
got to face them thorns. That's really it. Ain't no rose coming up without a thorn on it. So I mean, if you want to appreciate the beauty, you got to face the ugly too.
you got pricked a few
Yeah.
times.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Hello. It's like that was the one I was like, ma'am, I'm not finna cry. I was on 170, like, ma'am, no, you're not finna get me today. And it's so beautiful. So
Melodically,
beautiful.
it's so beautiful too, Curtis. Like,
It's so beautiful. I'm
listen,
like,
I ain't gonna pause
ma'am.
this no more. We've been having technical difficulties all day, and I got snot.
It's, it's gonna be
Oh,
baby. It's all good. But yeah, I
I'm like, I gotta get
whew,
this.
Beyonce.
Yeah, and then from there, we enter the smoke hour with Willie Nelson. So now we're going into act two
Right.
of the album. She done said,
I was
okay, I done got all the feelings and emotions out of y'all. Y'all have cried. It's time to have Willie come on the air and tell you he don't need an introduction, and
Mm.
he really don't give a damn about who you are. And if you
That was
if
my
it's something
favorite.
that you listen, okay. He said, "You know my name. No need to know yours. Now for the next tune, I want y'all to sit back, inhale, because Willie Nelson, he get down in the green streets.
Stay high.
And he said, go to the
Stay
good
high.
place in your mind that likes to wander off. So you know we about to turn up. And he said, and if you don't want to go find yourself a jukebox. Thanks. And that last night, how he says thank you, it was sidebar. This reminds me of
Mm.
Bernie. Because Bernie be like, thanks. Like, okay, bitch. Like, and then we segue into this ain't Texas. Say
Right.
no hole.
And what's so weird about Texas Hold'em is that it's probably the most traditionally country song on the whole album. It and it's like, but even though musically it is the most um traditionally country, the lyrics kind of really ain't though. If you read them, and I think that's kind of like the big thing about this album is like she finds a way to have the sound of country, the influence of country, the essence of country there, but she finds a way to go because I'm like, ain't nobody in Texas talking about they Lexus. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I mean, have you ever really heard that in a country song? Go ahead. Right. Yep. Exactly. Hmm. 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 I would agree. That's exactly. Hello. But here's the thing about this, and I was telling a friend before you go any further, before I was telling a friend about this, I feel like there's a strategy to this because I feel like the pre-release single, the first single on both albums were songs where it was like, okay, this is familiar. Like I've heard this before, or I know this vibe. So a part of me attaches to it because of like nostalgia sake, because Break My Soul was very much 90s house, and even like the sounds itself, to the point that she had to give credit to other artists because the sounds were so endemic to the sound of 90s house. And I think the same thing is happening here on Texas Hold'em. It's like I'm setting your ear right now for what you about to get with this album, and it's a little cheesy, it's a little goofy, but it's still a fun time. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you. Like when I first heard Texas Hold'em, I literally said, okay, that's cute. Okay, next. And I listened to 16. I said 16 characters. I said, okay, now I'm here for that. But at the same time, there's something about Texas Hold'em that is so it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm just having a good time. I keep saying I'm waiting for somebody to give me a good line dance. When y'all give me a good line dance, it's a wrap this summer because it's just a good time. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
just a good
I
time.
haven't
You know
seen
what
a
I mean?
good line dance yet for Texas Hold'em, so I'm like,
At all.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to call my cousin that goes out to the old in cahoots and stuff and be out there. No, that's a church now. I think that's a church.
It is
It's
now, yeah.
somewhere where they do
Hmm.
line dancing somewhere between Illinois and St. Louis, and he's into
Hmm.
it heavy. And so I wanted to call him and say
Right.
like, "Hey, Pumpkin, can you make a line dance for me and you could teach it
Hmm.
virtually and then put it out there?" I
Right.
might still do that. I might still do that. That'll be fun.
Oh,
That'll be fun. Something for me
it
to
should
do.
be. Hmm.
Um, but baby, from Texas Hold'em, we get into Bodyguard. And when I
Oh,
tell you Bodyguard is that
yeah,
girl,
yeah.
Bodyguard might be is I mean, talk about Bonnie and Clyde 24.
uh,
Because Bonnie and Clyde 03. That's what this is. Like you use
I feel you. Mhm.
and I
I
just
feel you.
love that it gives like like a little bit of Fleetwood Mac tease and
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
yes. And so I just love lyrically Bodyguard. And you know, she just say, I could picture the visual. I could picture this video. And if it don't be like that, I'm going to make my own video and say, this is how the Bodyguard video should have been. And
Again.
you know, the desert is up the freeway. So I got a whole idea like for it.
Sure.
But it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of like, now we're getting kind of more into like the countryness a little more.
But some people were saying that this was more like soft rock, and I kind of got that from that too when they said it. Because first they said, like you said, the Fleetwood Mac-ness of it, but it to me when I heard to me that felt really 80s. So that's why I was like, yeah, I can hear it, but
So
it's good.
okay,
But
so
it's good. Go ahead.
okay, so that's funny that you say that. So interestingly enough, because we know what the alleged Act 2 is, I mean Act
Mm-hmm.
3. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's dope, you know, if you're saying that, because it kind of gives us a little preamble. Like it is, we're gonna get there where
Mm-hmm.
it'll get louder and maybe a little bit of hard
Mm-hmm.
rock, because people are really wondering
Mm-hmm.
how is what does rock and Beyonce sound like. And I say, if you want to know, go listen to Don't Hurt Yourself on Lemonade. Oh
Exactly.
fuck, Lemonade was
Because
like,
that is that.
okay, Beyonce, look, you
Lemonade
on
is the
Lemonade, you
precursor
literally
to 3X.
okay, you've
It's the
given us everything
precursor.
on
She
Lemonade.
literally did this already. She literally did this already. She did this already. That's why I think it's so funny when folks go, "How's she gonna do country?" She did. She been did country. This ain't none of this new to her. Y'all are just realizing it.
Daddy Lesson is everything, because I love Daddy Lesson. And I think lyrically on this one,
She's already explored.
yeah.
I'm gonna say she's already explored all these spaces.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I want to hear what you lyrically what. Tell me.
Well, I was gonna say lyrically, you kind of get more of that, like, you know, country, because we talk about whiskey and you know, smoking and this happy hour, and then where it kind of changed, like I said, you have you're pulling from different things from country, right? So there you're pulling elements of like the root of what people say or when they think about country with this song. But for me, like I just love this song so much because she loved Jay-Z Dirty Draws, okay? And I
Girl,
love that. Okay. I love
I keep
that she
saying
does.
that man put it down on her something fierce because she. We're gonna get into that a little deeper later, but I'm just like, man,
Like, you back on this ride or die stuff, and I'm not that girl. But I love this song because I'm like, okay, she's like just talking about, even here, she mentions being, I'm gonna protect you in the mosh pit. I'll be your best friend. I'll protect you in the mosh pit and I'll defend you in the gossip. You know how people like to start shit and pop shit. I don't like the way she looking at you. Someone better hold me back. Charges 10 for a double. I'm talking, I'm about to lose and turn around and John Wayne that ass. Like, girl. And you out here fighting for this? Man, I don't be like it. I love niggas, but I don't love them that much, Curtis. I'm not fighting for no man.
Here's what I will say. I'm just like, if if somebody else got your eye like that, like Fantasia said, if you don't want me, then free yourself.
Listen, this is last night I was telling Curtis, last night I told my homegirls, I said, I've never been digmatized. I cannot have a man having that type of control or power over me where I am thinking irrationally. I like to be in control of what I got going on. And if I feel like it's entering that space, I'm out. I'm out.
Really, it has to be. It has to be.
I don't love. There is a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore. I'm out because I need to. You can't have me just out here. We see people kill people, do crazy absurd things. You had left that burning down houses and shit because you digmatized. No thanks. No thanks. I don't want it.
Right.
I don't
I may
need
need
no
a breather
toxic devil dick over here. I love the
if it gets
Lord
like
too
that.
much.
I need a breather. I need a breather if it gets like that. Like, let's
Yeah.
take a break.
Hmm.
Oh boy, oh,
That's
that's what I was gonna
hilarious.
say. Okay, if we're gonna break this album up into three acts, I guess if the first act was about parent and child, then the second act is about parent, relationships, romantic relationships, and being like, "Bitch, that's mine." You know what I'm saying? There's a
Hmm.
lot of that in like the next three or four songs.
It surely is.
Um,
It surely is because from Bodyguard, because we're getting a little hint of what's coming because she said, "I don't like the way she's looking at you.
right?
Somebody better hold me back." And then we segue
Exactly.
into
Exactly.
Dolly Parton's interlude,
Uh
and
huh.
she is like, "Hey, be Miss
Hmm.
Dolly P." And sidebar, I want people to go. There's a documentary, and I can't remember if it's on Netflix or HBO, about Dolly Parton and
Hmm.
her history of being in
Hmm.
the country ground, but it goes back to the beginning, and it is really amazing. Like I am a huge Dolly Parton fan because of that documentary. Uh, so I challenge everybody to go check that out because you'll really fuck with Dolly after
I've been
that.
meaning to watch it. I've been meaning to
Yeah,
watch it
it's
because I've
amazing.
heard a
It's
lot of good
amazing.
things
It's
about it.
amazing. And so, and Dolly doesn't give us too much. She was like, you know that hussy with the good hair, referencing Lemonade. You sing about reminded me of
Uh-huh.
someone that I knew back when, except she had flaming locks of auburn. Bless her heart, just a different hair color, but it hurts just the same.
Hers just
And
the
then we go
same.
into Jolene. And so, go ahead, Curtis.
Jolene, I Jolene actually I think was the biggest surprise. Not that it was gonna. Well, everyone knew she was gonna do Jolene. Everyone knew that because it was like, what else can you do? But not so much in the song, but in how she changed the lyric. Because that was the thing that I kept thinking about. Like if she does Jolene, she not begging nobody to leave her man alone. I kept saying that. I was like, how's that gonna work for Beyonce? But because she not, she said no. I'm warning you, don't mess with my man. And then she changed almost the entire song. I feel like, and I know a lot of people do not like that. A lot of people, but apparently, Dolly Parton loves it, and the fact that she gave Dolly Parton all the credit for the song, like she didn't even take any credit for rewriting any of the words. It's still Dolly Parton's song as far as the credits are concerned. Which and I think that's really dope. That's one thing I will say about Beyonce. I've noticed she credits people wholly, even if she doesn't even actually use them. She still credits them if they were a big enough of an influence, and you can hear the influence. She puts it there. Um, these lyrics though, she it's beyond it's classic Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? It's like she goes through and she like, you're beautiful and all, but it takes more than that to separate a man from his family and from his wife. And she goes she it's really just typical Beyonce when you get through. I'm still a Creole Banji bitch from Louisiana. That I think that really sums it up for me. Uh, and what else? Oh, that's what I thought was interesting too. That she
And
and
we
what
think,
else? Oh, that's what I thought was
and to
interesting
keep.
too. That she
Oh no,
yeah.
I was gonna say go back to that because you know
uh,
that we know that Beyonce and Solange got them hands because people mess with Solange. Beyonce was up there at the school, and they from the third
uh-huh.
ward. Like, yeah, we had this nice house, but we from the hood. I think we see Beyonce again. She fired the warning shot in Bodyguard, and then here it's like
uh,
it's so many people that act just as desperate as you do, but
yes.
you a bird. Go sing on your own tune, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you because
Uh,
listen, I'm ready to throw down. I'm ready to throw down because
uh,
I hate to have to act a fool, but your piece depends on how you move, Jolene. This is
that's a
Becky.
word right there.
I'm coming for you. Like, don't try me, sis. Because I done been through a lot with this man. Like you said, I raised this man, I raised his
Mhm.
kids. Like I said,
And that's
he put it
that's
down
wild right
hard.
there, and it's real too.
Whew,
That's wild and
I
that's real. And that's the thing, when you spend 20 years with a person, you done raised them for real, for real. Regardless of where you found them at 20 years in, you done raised them. Yes, you have. That oh boy. And and I think what was kind of dope too is that oh
yeah,
boy.
and I
And
like we said,
and I
like
think
this
what was
is
kind of dope too is that
go ahead.
I was going to say, well, I think it was dope that she added that bridge because that bridge is not in the original at all. She added that, and I was like, well, that's interesting. That's a choice. And she goes deeper into it. Like, look, we done been through it, hills and valleys, highs and lows, and you're not getting this nigga. That's pretty much it.
Like I will off you. I will do whatever I can. And
Mhm.
that's the thing is like, Jolene, we know that Jolene Dolly's version, please don't sleep with man because she knows this woman has some sort of power over.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. I and I'm not married. I don't have kids. And I'm saying what I would say.
Mhm.
I have yet to experience a relationship where I'm like,
Yeah.
to me, my problem ain't gonna never be with the chick, regardless of what she know. I'm always gonna look to my nigga and be like, "So what you gonna do?" Because
That's the Aquarius in you.
you want to make this a thing.
Ooh,
Because like
that's
Fantasia
very
just said,
Aquarius.
go on and free yourself and do what you gonna do. Because baby, you better show believe I'm the booger with the sugar, and this nigga's lined up. So go on do you and get some
Mm.
mediocre cootie cat and keep it moving. Like, and don't be trying to come back. Bye. But then we segue into daughters.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a perfect thread. It's a thread. It's a thread. It's a thread. It goes from this is mine and you watch yourself. And now it's like, bitch, no, seriously, watch yourself. And you clearly ain't learned. So now we at daughter. And it's like, hey,
Wait, what somebody say?
all right.
Somebody said they thought daughter was about Solange in the elevator. It's like, okay, guys.
That's petty.
And
That's
I
hella petty.
looked at it from after I saw that, I looked at it from that perspective, and it's like, I
Mhm.
could see how you kind of got there.
I'm saying if the album really was Beyonce, that would make sense. Literally, at this point, we've heard a song about pretty much everybody in our family. That's interesting. Let's get into it for real quick.
Look, your body laid out on these filthy floors, your blood stains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I rip your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do.
Mm.
That's an Anglo-Saxon. Because it take black people a longer time to become those colors.
Oh, girl, that didn't even cross my mind. Right, it's either that or she real light bright. Take your pick.
Yeah. And then
Wow,
she's like,
come on,
I
break it
just
up.
like reading it aloud and versus like just reading it as she's singing
Mhm.
hit different. So I was like, oh
Mhm.
shoot, like that's somebody, like you said, light bright. Um, they keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me, I'm just like my father. I am colder than Titanic water. So,
I mean, it's
according
fine.
to Genius, this says that Beyonce returns to a theme expressed in Daddy Lessons from her Project Lemonade, which
Mhm.
addresses the ways fathers pass down their behaviors and Harlem learn lessons to their father for their survival, but possibly to their detriment. This line expresses a similar sentiment in that while she may not exactly be like her father and share a greater resemblance to her mother, Tina, she can still fuck a bitch up under the right circumstances.
Come on, contributors. I love a good
Right.
commentary.
Oh,
But
hello.
yeah, she talking about help me, Lord, from these fantasies in my head. They ain't ever been safe ones. I don't fellowship with these fake ones. That what got me. Let's travel to white chapels and sing hymns, hold rosaries and sing and stained glass symphonies. Cleanse me, Holy Trinity, from this marijuana smoke smell in my hair. I was like, ma'am. I said this, and I will say that to me, that was possibly the most country um lyric or part of a song. Like to me, the way that whole chorus flows when she sings it, I'm like, now that's country. That's good country there. And it's a good storyteller too. Like you getting all this imagery without a lot of words. You know what I'm saying?
And I think when I think of country for sure, we always know for the most part, it is always some sort of story. And not that R&B and rap doesn't do that, but there's a way in country
Mhm.
that they connect certain things. So like when I was speaking about Before He Cheats,
Mhm.
I've never seen that video, but lyrically, I have created a video in my mind about that song.
Mhm.
So even with Daughter, like you said, this is that country. Mine is in that space again. And I'm thinking
Mhm.
the scene is set, it's like a darker color overlay, kind of like the smoky overlay. Louisiana, maybe in the foyer, a little bit
Mhm.
at some house party. Think Eve's by you. And that's when all the chaos, the drama, she's like, shit, I got killed, bitch.
Mhm.
She not gonna stop. And my husband is so weak, like Samuel L. Jackson's character in Eve's Bayou.
Look at you.
He
Mhm.
gonna hit it. I can't have that disrupt me. Like knowing that I know that my husband is weak. Instead of pressing him, I'm gonna get rid of the kryptonite. Walk with me.
Mhm. So my real question for you is when you going to direct something, because clearly you have the eye and the vision for it. I'm waiting for you to give me a short feature or something.
So I'm thinking about it. I think I'm gonna have to make some
Mhm.
visuals. I think I'm gonna have to make some visuals,
I would like
and I'll let you know.
okay.
Because I was thinking about because I'm
Mm.
going to the desert next weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would
Mhm.
love to shoot Bodyguard or what we gonna get to Miley Cyrus and Beyonce in a second, But I was thinking
Mhm.
about that drive and capturing B-roll for it, and like maybe
Mhm.
going out there to shoot a video for that.
I wanted to add one more thing though, because what you were saying was storytelling about storytelling. I want to go there because you were like, yeah, we there's storytelling in R&B and rock, but I think the thing that's really different about country is that with country there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I feel like sometimes in the storytelling in R&B we don't necessarily get that. It's more like about a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, there's a story, but we're not getting into the details. With a country story, it's like, no, honey, we start here and we're gonna get here, and I'm gonna tell you how we got from here to here. And I feel like we don't really get that in too many other genres of music.
I
Rap
see how
used
you,
to
I,
be it.
for sure. I see how you for sure said that, and I think that sometimes we people in R&B for sure we look for the entire album to tell us the story
Mhm.
versus a track.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
people get upset when cohesively the album doesn't make sense. And they feel like I kind of it's all over the place. It's telling a story. And I'm like, yeah, that's not there. And so when you get certain
Mhm.
artists that really understand artistry and understand musicology, we get that in Lemonade. You get a little bit of it kind of
Mhm.
in the middle of Beyonce with Partition, and you get Jealous after that. So
Mhm.
that tells a little
Mhm.
story right there. And because she's like, I just want to be the girl that you like. But then on the flip side of that is in Jealous, you're seeing that where there are cracks in the foundation.
Yep.
So, but when we get to Lemonade, it's a story through and through. Like each track,
Mm.
you're in the different parts of this relationship, and then you see it all night. Then to be able to work everything out and how that ends, and even visually, when you see the
Mm.
visuals, really bring it all together for Lemonade. So yeah, I'm like, oh, look at me taking a look back and reflecting back and
Look at you.
taking it forward. Now here we are.
But you're doing it though. The connections are there, and I think that that is actually an important thing to note. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like Beyonce kind of like it's been there the whole time, and it's like she just been like she started with just let me try a little bit of that to see what that looked like. Okay, so let me try something a little bit bigger. Let me see what that looked like. Okay, now I'm ready to do something on a way larger scale. That's really what it is. I feel like, and so I mean this is a good breakdown for me. This is a good breakdown. Um, are we ready to go to spaghetti?
Are we gonna talk about wait, before we go to spaghetti, are we gonna talk about Kyle Meal being within daughters?
Oh, girl, how'd I miss that? Don't let me do that. I'm the singer, and I'm I'm sliding right past that. That well, let me tell you, when I heard that, I gagged. I was like, what? Are we really doing this? She wow. And the thing about
My beloved, my dear beloved, or beloved, depending on the person. One day we'll have a conversation
mm,
about that. Believe me, at least without you, the heart languishes. Your faithful one always sighs, sees cruel one, so much rigor. And so you kind of like that comes after I shade my dress, did my best impression of a damsel in distress. This
mhm.
alcohol and smell of regret allured my outfit too small to hide my scars, feeling bottled up like bottle service broads. How long can he hold his breath before his death? Baby,
Hmm.
Beyonce.
So the story still ain't over.
Like and like I told you, this is giving Eve's value. Like parts of it, like the infidelity part, like that, not the stuff with Megan Good. Uh, but yeah, it's I don't ever want to be digmatized,
She
Curtis.
put her as long as you stay this aware, you stay this aware. I don't think you will. Are you? Because I'm gonna tell you, all it takes is one good time, and you be like, no, no, you stay over there.
She's like, because now
Oh, but
she's like, look,
Cowboy,
listen, even when after that, after she sings Caro Mio Bien, she says, help me, Lord, from these fantasies in
uh-huh.
my head. This you are going crazy over this nigga.
Yes,
And see, now I can
It is
see how
crazy.
people was like, man, this her singing to Solange on the elevator, because like Solange done had to, you done made Beyonce so crazy that Solange has now had to be tapped in to whoop your ass. Because Beyonce can't do it. So it's like,
Not and get
because I'm
away with
like that. If
it.
somebody does something to my sister, I don't give a damn how mad I am at my sister. She hit me and say something, I find something out, I'm at somebody's doorstep. I don't play about my sister.
I feel that. I definitely feel that.
I can't.
I I don't know if it's Solange or her, to be really honest. But I'm gonna talk about Kara Bien because the thing about that, every singer has to learn that song. It's that, and that's why all the singers are like at her doing it because in college everyone has to sing the song. Like literally, like I want to say this maybe the first foreign language song I learned in like when I was at Forest Park. It was like literally the melody is a little different. Now she kind of took some liberties with the melodies, but the words very much are that. And it's so all the singers are like, she really doing this, huh? And the thing, if I can use it to tie, it's in Italian, right? And then the next song is Spaghetti, which kind of alludes to spaghetti westerns, which usually were shot in Italy. So there are these interesting ways that she makes everything still connect. It's it.
It's
I
mind blowing. on that intro, we get Linda Martell and Swiss Beats. And it says, genres are a funny little concept, aren't they? Yes, they are. That Beyonce Virgo shit. In theory, they have a simple definition that's easy to understand. But in practice, well, some may feel confined. And then they say, I swear for God, it's about to hit it. And then you kind of go into Beyonce, kind of giving us a little bit of rap tease on this
Mm-hmm.
on this the verse, because it's not that it's aggressive,
Yes.
but it's like in your face. Because if and then we'll
Yes.
get into Linda Martell, in a second, but especially knowing what we know about Linda
Yes.
Martell, it's like,
Mhm. No, I was about to get into that the first verse because the thing that I'm like, the fact that Trina said her favorite female rapper is Beyonce. I'm like, bitch, I get it. I really do get it. Um, this verse, like you said, it's not like it's aggressive, but there's so many ideas flying at you so fast, and it's like, wait, I gotta hear that again because there's so much coming at you. Oh golly, I don't even want to go through these lyrics because I won't do them justice. But oh my, what she said? I ain't got no gang, but I got shooters and I bang. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
she is coming. She's like really coming with it, and it's just like,
Yeah.
even in like, they still love your flame, ain't got no game, or I'll pierce your heart. What Beyonce? And then we also meet country rap singer Shabuzi, and
Mhm. Yeah.
he says how to the moon, which is a
Mhm.
bar out here. And then
Mhm.
this says that this line invokes the image of cowboys gathered at night, howling at the moon, a gesture that can symbolize both a
Mhm.
sense of freedom and warning to the nearby groups. The association with coyotes carries characteristics of native predators of the western regions of North America, known for their adaptability and ability to survive in adverse conditions. If that ain't black people,
What that's another thing that I thought was interesting too. Is like cowboy is really a black term. They did not call white men cowboys. They were cowhands.
yeah.
So the fact that white folks want to call themselves cowboys now, it's funny. It's like, really, really, it's okay.
Because they so boring. And even from there, I just like, it's like, also like she said, I
Mm.
don't got shooters, but bang bang. Going back to what you said, I ain't now in hindsight, I ain't really gotta put my hands in you. I get people to carry my lightweight, or as they call it in Spanish, flojo. So and then we go into alligator tears, which I
Now
think
this is my song. Oh,
Curtis
oh,
Curtis.
I so. Oh. And here's the thing that I'm like, it's so weird to me that Beyonce at this point in her life can still make these kinds of songs. These I'll go to the ends of the earth, I'll do whatever it take to be with you type songs. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, and that's another thing about this album too. There's so many songs where the relationships sound toxic as hell, but then she makes it sound so good while it's toxic as hell. And this is one of them. I was like, you say move a mountain and I'll throw on my boots.
Alligator tears is so crazy because my first connection with this is working in
Mm,
shoes. And so when
mm,
I worked at uh when I started working in shoes at Baker's, then to Nordstrom to Saks, uh
mm.
we would get crocked. And so crock meant somebody wasted your time and then didn't take shit.
Okay.
Khalees crocked me. Khalees did that to me. And so it caused this layer of frustration because you could have been helping somebody else getting some money. You could have doubled.
Yes.
And so that was my first
No.
introduction to crocodile tears. So hearing it
Uh-huh.
now into a song and then listening to the lyrics, I was like, this bitch got crocked. So
Yeah.
I connected with it from that level. So it's so funny.
Immediately.
But like you said, because listen, when I'm going to the ends of earth and doing this, and you try to get, and that's what you're doing. You're trying to make this sale happen because you know you run a commission structured job, and the more money you
Mhm.
you sell to people, the more money you make, and you like, and sometimes that week
Right.
it could be between are you gonna get commission or you gonna get your hourly, and it's the sense
Mm.
of survival that's there in that, and it is all in
Yeah.
alligator tears.
Mhm.
Go ahead and start.
I don't think Beyonce knew that's what she was gonna take from it.
Yeah, she triggered me a little bit.
Ooh.
Sonically, I love this song, like the way it's sang.
Yes.
Again, her saying, you know, that you tell me to jump how high. I am, your will is my
Mm.
command. Again,
Mm.
I Beyonce, but it's just like
Yeah.
I just love how she say, like, because what would you call that style of singing, Curtis? Like the way, because it's kind of like a
Ooh.
dragging, but it's a little bit of
Yes.
like a spiritual in there.
You know what? I've been struggling with this because I can see where you get that from. I don't know. I'm really trying. I'm at a loss myself because I think that's kind of the draw for me too. Is that it's like you said, it's this dragginess. This it it feels kind of like maybe like, to me it feels like late '60s, early '70s rock, kind of like there's a little bit of that vibe to it, like a like a psychedelic feel to it. Um, I don't know. I wish I had a word for it, but it's very stylistic. That's the word that's probably the easiest thing I can say for it. It's very stylized. It's very I'm looking for a certain thing here, and I'm achieving it, quite honestly. Oh Lord, but these lyrics have me worn out. She said you. Oh my God, she said you say change religions. Now I spend Sundays with you. I said, ma'am, 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 ma'am. Whew, whew.
Listen, I love the Lord too much, and He heard my cry and pitied every groan. For some nigga to come here and act like that, no, not interested at all.
I,
But
it's wow.
I love it though, because she say, you say, move a mountain and I'll throw
Mhm.
on my boots. You say, stop the river from running. I build a dam too. You say, change religions. I spend Sundays with you. Something about those tears of yours. How does it feel to be adored?
Mm-hmm.
I'm triggered thinking
Hmm.
about the funky ass customers that
Yeah.
wasted my time.
I love that you do not actually connect this to a man, but to customers. That is wild because because I feel like everyone else on the planet is going to be like, nope, I've been there. I've been there with a man. I've been there, or with a woman. I've been there. But you like, nope, customers. That's the only people who mess me up like that.
Nothing else matters. I
Ooh.
don't, I'm trying to think. I've dated a man where I've experienced this, and I don't know. I think I've always been a couple of steps ahead. Now I'm some
Mm.
shit. Maybe somebody think alligator is about me, but never nothing too chaotic.
Now
You know,
that's for you.
sometimes I might
That's
be a little toxic in my youth. Yeah, we can talk about that offline.
oh,
Yeah, I might be
okay.
alligator too. Here's about
Oh.
this cool thing about growth. Growth is acknowledging what I
Hmm.
did and growing and learning from it so I don't do it again. So
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. That's
So
it.
yeah.
It's not that we don't mess up. It's how do we learn from our mess ups. Yep.
Mhm.
That song right there gets me. I'm ooh.
Alligator tears, we go back into another interlude with Willie Nelson. He says, if there's one thing you can take away from my set today, let it be this. Sometimes you don't know what you like until someone you trust turns you on to some really good shit. And so he said, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm here. Up next on the Smoke Now Hour is Just for Fun by Beyonce. You're welcome. And I was like, what are we about to get into? When you say just for fun and that first chord kicks in, nothing sounds fun about this song. Because
At
it
all.
sounds like when you look at the track, when I see just for, we think of something upbeat and it comes in with those darker chords, and you're like, oh
Hmm.
shit, here we go. So you want to start it?
This one really it, I'm still trying to absorb this song. I'm gonna be really honest because, like you said, there's so much of a contradiction here. It's like, wait, what are we really talking about? You know what I mean? And even in the first verse, I'm going all out just for fun. I am the man, and I know it. That makes you think, hey, oh, this is about to be good. And everywhere I go, they know my name. So I laugh and I lie like the coyotes cry, and time moves so quickly, and so do I. So do I. So I'll say my goodbye. It's like, wait a minute. What are we really talking about? It's you know what it sounds like? It sounds like that one person who's always the life of the party, but for real, their life is on some fuck shit, and they go home and be like, man. But while they out, it's like psst, drinks on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I got the same thing because then even with the, you said, time heals everything. I don't need anything, hallelujah,
Hmm.
hallelujah, because I'm singing it like in my mind. But I prayed to her, and here's to hoping that I'll fall fast asleep tonight, and I'll just need to get through this. Born in the darkness, who brings me to the light, and I just need to get through this, or get used to it. And you're like, fuck, like this is depressing.
Yes.
And I think we've probably all had moments where we felt like this.
Hmm.
Like we're very extroverted people, Curtis, and sometimes when I come home, just on the energies alone that I experience, I am depleted. I feel heavy,
Hmm.
like I need some sort of relief because I have to replenish. I have to restore my soul.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. And so, and experiencing levels of that depression, that anxiety, that feeling alone in a crowd full of people, I hella
Mhm.
can relate to this. And it's just like, here you are again, La Heifer, making me have to hold that mirror up and acknowledge myself again.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't like that.
And this right here is, I think, the first duet on the album. This is the first duet, I think. She got Willie Jones on this, and that man has a voice. I was like, I've heard him here and there on like social media, but this, I think, the first time I've actually got the chance to like hear him on a song. And I was like, okay, I see what the hype's about. I do.
Yeah. And again, and rich, very rich, uh like I'm not gonna say velvety, but like kind of
Mm.
chocolatey. So it kind of flows with this
Hmm.
the tune, like the melody on the song. So because you don't know
Hmm.
what's
Yeah.
gonna come in, and it just hits. So
Hmm.
and then again we going back to the I don't need anything, hallelujah. I pray to her. I pray to her.
Hmm.
And because we always are conflicted. Is God a man? Is he a woman? And whatnot. So
Hmm. And the thing I think about it too is that his voice is just as pretty as hers. So you still, it's like you really not tripping off these lyrics, but it's still just as sad. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how, how is all this just for fun? I'm like, girl, what? But time heals everything at all.
And then that's the
It,
question: is
it,
was it really?
I was, I was just gonna say the one line really sticks with me is the well, I lost it that fast. Like I just got to get through this or get used to it. I'm like that to me. I think maybe what encapsulates the entire thing. It's like okay, this is a lot. This is so much happening. And I either got to get through it or get you. And I feel like that's life too. You know what I'm saying? It's like you either got to get to the other side of it or just accept this is the new normal, one or the other.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then we from there, it's crazy because we
Uh
said we're into two most wanted, what kind of gives us like
huh.
on the adverse of that, it's like I got my Thelma to my
Mm-hmm.
Louise. And I have somebody that's always
Mm-hmm.
gonna be there for me through thick and thin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I would agree with you. It's a
it's
good
like a beautiful
juxtaposition.
surprise with
Hmm.
that.
And speaking of surprises, who would have ever thought Miley Cyrus and Beyonce would sound good together? I said, this is amazing. And it's like, and they found like the perfect way to handle it where Miley is like in her bag and Beyonce is in her bag and it just works.
And how they
It's
trade
great.
off
And
on the
also
medley, like singing like yeah, you get Beyonce high, you get Miley low, and then it flips, and it's just really
mhm,
dope. And
mhm,
like I said, and you could take this song in so many different ways. You could think of it like this relationship that person that just gets you. Where no matter what that looks like, whether it be romantically, platonically, it could be about
mhm,
my siblings, whatever. But this song
mhm,
just does it for me. It's just beautiful. Even it kind of paints a picture for you. Another song that you just can
yeah.
close your eyes and just visualize what's happening. And I see what you're doing here, Beyonce. We still want some
Mhm.
visuals. So stop playing in our face.
It's just like well, it's in your mind, all up
It
in your
is it's
head.
in your
That's
mind.
where it
No, no,
is.
girl, we still need it.
She might surprise us with some visuals down the road. Be like, I got you,
I don't think we're
but
gonna get it till after Act Three. I think if we got him, it would be
I think that too.
something big. Yeah, I think it would be after big Act Three because we know that she did shoot a lot of stuff for Renaissance. Like we know
Mm,
that. So I think
mm,
it would be after Act Three for sure. And then I guess we kind of
mm.
gonna breeze through a little bit of this
Yeah.
because I'm like, dang, we at the 2 hour mark. I wasn't, I didn't know. And you
I
said it.
know.
So we from Two Most Wanted, we go into Levi's Jeans, featuring
I'll,
Post Malone.
I'll be honest. This is not my favorite song. This is not. Um, I I wish I could like it. Like I feel like the white girls are gonna eat this song up. I really and oh apparently you do like it. It just ain't doing. It ain't doing nothing for me. It ain't. And I love me some Levi jeans.
I enjoy it for what it is. I think it's cute. I think it's lovey dovey. And so I like that. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes, okay, as an Aquarius, I'm gonna say this. I have these moments. People think that we are very cold
Mhm.
human beings. No, it's like when we love people hard, and so we be trying to protect ourselves from not going crazy. But there are moments that I want to be in my nigga skin. Like, you put on a t-shirt, let me get in that t-shirt with you, and let's just spoon and cuddle. And this reminds me of that,
Okay.
and it's really cute. Uh, so we ain't got to stay there at all. So let's just take it on to flamenco because she's like, this ain't doing it for me. I don't like this.
I mean,
But
it's
flamenco
like
is
you said, it's cute. It's cute. Let's go ahead.
look. So what? Okay, so super quick. Act Three,
Uh,
and
uh,
within Carter, Cowboy, or Beyonce, as we call it.
uh,
What do you
uh,
think the theme is for this one again? Because it's kind of
ooh. Three. You know what?
because it's
Okay,
kind of
if we're
not
gonna
that it's
call this
all
a
over the place, but it's
you're there though.
go
You're there though.
ahead.
I feel like if we are gonna call this a three act album, I think this third act is low key the transition to Renaissance. That's what I really think it is. It's like because we're starting to get into um the danceable stuff for real. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything else was like all to me. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to go. If we're gonna go here, what I kind of feel like, in a way, my phone just fell out my. Oh, there it goes. It almost goes. If I could explain it well, if the first act was more like country past, and the second act is country present, then the third act is like country future almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the possibilities of what country could be if y'all would stop being so fucking narrow minded. That's what I got from it. It's like country can be way more than what y'all have made it out to be, and I'm gonna prove it to you right here, and that's what I got from like especially once you get past Yaya, the songs after that, I'm like, oh, she's it's literally futuristic. I'm like, this don't even sound like current music. It's so ahead of its time
Okay, so with
to
that
me.
said, so we don't. I feel like I hella agree with you on that, and we're not gonna go track by track in Act Three, because I feel like you hit the nail on the head with that, and I just but I'm gonna say this: it's not my
Mm-hmm.
favorite part of the album, because like the first two like acts have a hold on me. I love Tyrant, I love Two Hands to
Mm-hmm.
Heaven, and of course, Amen, and Sweet Honey Bucket is cute. But when you say the dance part,
Mm-hmm.
immediately I'm gonna say this: my mind went to Old Town Road. How that song was charted on the country
Mm-hmm.
charts, and they pulled it because they said it wasn't country enough.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, I'm like, man, but I am stuck. Like I love this album, but and like I said, I love Yaya for sure, and I can see exactly how you said
Mm-hmm.
Yaya was supposed to. You can see that as the opener for this album. But I
Mm-hmm.
want to, before we get into Yaya, I want to get into flamenco super quick if you want to talk about it, and then we'll go to
Let's
the
go.
Linda Martell show. Because I think it's important that
Okay.
we acknowledge what happened to Linda Martell.
You know what? For some reason, flamenco does not leave a big impression on me like the rest of the album, and I don't know why that is. Like literally, I can tell you every other song, but when I get to this one, I'm like, how'd I go? I feel bad, and I'm not sure what it is about that song that it does not resonate with me. And I've heard people say that they love it; it's one of their favorite songs, and I'm like, I don't get that.
I think it's like experiencing like kind of like a level of loss that's hit there in this song, and then
Mm,
her have to kind of like accept that a little bit because she
mhm,
says that
mhm.
right now my day ones are telling me that they won't be around. They won't be around. I hope that you know that I loved you,
Yeah.
that I once loved you. I wish that I had known I wish that I had known you'd let me wonder. I hope God knows that I'm in
Mm,
need of help right now. So
mm,
there's something like a level of loss that's here that maybe people
yeah.
connect with. But I'm also
Mhm,
with you. Like I like it at every other week, like a renaissance. I'm pretty sure we'll go through things as we continuously listen, and there'll be a moment where it clicks
mhm,
and it's like, I get
mhm.
it.
Yes, I'd
Yeah,
agree. I'd agree.
yeah.
Yep.
You hear this is so, and this is random. I wish I connect with Riverdance, and I'm not there yet.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I think because I think we can talk about pretty much all these songs as a whole. Yaya's to stand out to me, and I can go into detail about that if you want me to. But
Okay.
I feel like from Desert Eagle on, every song has this transitional aspect to it that again to me echoes Renaissance, and it's so much to the point where it's even like, well, Sweet Honey Bucking is obviously three different songs, but I feel like in other songs we start getting that too, where it's like, wait, is this one song or is this two? You know, and uh Riverdance, I think Riverdance is one of them, and then Two Hands to Heaven, I definitely feel like could be two different songs. When I listen to it, and it's interesting because somebody was like, "Does she have any ballads?" And it's like, if you listen to it, Two Hands to Heaven kind of is a ballad. It just has this beat underneath it, but in and of itself, it's if you took the beat off of it, it's a slow song
Hmm.
in my
No,
mind.
for sure, for sure. I enjoy Two Hands to Heaven, and I like that the beat
Mhm.
behind it a lot too, because it's kind of
Mhm.
giving. It's a little poppy, but it's like it's giving me mid to late '90s pop.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I could see like maybe like a Shania Twain esque voice singing over that back
Ooh.
then or something.
Oh, now, I hadn't thought of it until you said it. Now you said, I go, yep.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Even a little bit, you could do Celine Dion, because Celine Dion dabbled a little bit with stuff, uh,
that,
but yeah, for sure, for sure.
let's go and get back to Linda Martell though. Let's talk about her because to me that's I didn't even know about Linda Martell. That's what made me feel bad. I was like, who the hell is Linda Martell? When I looked her up, I was like, oh, I really should know who this woman is. I really the first black woman to perform at the Grand Ole Opry, like really, and like
And they wanted
really the first.
her. Go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you got this. I want to hear what you got.
No, I was saying kind of similar to like if we go back to like you said, when we go to Daughter and into Spaghetti, and I can't think of the black lady because she was the first person, like black woman black opera singer perform at Carnegie Hall, if I'm not mistaken. But even her history of them
Mhm.
trying to make her erase her blackness, and you see that happen with Linda
Mhm.
Martell, and then wanting her
Mhm.
to like conform to what was happening, and then in the
Mhm.
end just screwed her over because the label she was on, they would not release her from her contract. Now you have Linda
Mhm.
Martell at 80 something getting the recognition that she deserved from by way of Beyonce. And it's really unfortunate what we see happen to our people time and time again in these spaces that we created.
Yeah, that's the craziest part of it. How do we get robbed so frequently?
Yeah. And I think part of it is it comes in, I don't want to shake the table too much because survival, and I want to survive. And so you kind of just fall, we're conditioned to kind of just let shit be and fall in line. Like I feel like our generation, I think we're trying to, I would say to a certain extent, like we're all disruptors. We question things, we have dialogues about things
Mm.
instead of following the
Mhm.
normal standards of things that are put out there, for sure. But even that fight, it's exhausted. And we talk about fight or flight a lot. And I think that
Mhm.
we've gotten so used to that in the flight, because it's like I
Mhm.
don't want we and I want to explain to people listening and watching that us being from St. Louis, us knowing Ferguson, understanding what happened there, you were on the front lines, Curtis, and so you know even more than me. There are certain things that you guys have seen and experienced that we can't talk about publicly.
Now you gonna make me cry, don't? Mm-mm. But yeah, you're right.
No, but it's true. And I tell people that, like,
Mhm.
so when people say certain things to me, Mike Brown just as a whole, like it was, I mean, Trayvon got me, but Mike Brown hit differently because we are from there. Back in like the 90s, my aunt and uncle lived in Canfield. So we would go
Mhm.
over their house after church on Sundays and hang out. So it was more older back in the day, and then to kind of see it, like turn or whatever. And when I say turn, it's just like younger people started to move in, no big
Right.
deal. Uh, and knowing that history, and I left St. Louis the day that Mike Brown happened,
Really?
and the picture of him was circulating on
Mhm.
that asphalt around, and I'm like seeing it on Twitter. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And nobody knew what had happened yet. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
seeing, and as information came out, it was just a different. I mean, the level of furiousness, what we know what was happening, what we know what happened to a lot of the protesters. It this well, sorry, not that. This means a lot. And I think that when people try to say certain things or whatever, and I be in white people asses uh about that experience as a whole, and even vicariously experiencing it through my peers, you really understand all this shit is we knew it's corrupt, but even more nowadays. And it speaks different to you. And so like Linda Martell, you know, is one of those cases. And we see it happen time and time and time again. And so it's like, will it ever be over? Will it ever change? Will there ever be a shift? I think that's one of the things that I kind of grapple with humanity a little bit, and being a just will we ever know peace prior to the day that we take our last breath? Will there ever be some sort of reconcile?
Yeah. To add to that, I mean, because I'm not going to go into the Ferguson thing as much as I want, even though it's crazy that it's almost it's 10 years this year. And like you said, my sister's first apartment was in Canfield, Green. My family lives literally probably about half a mile. I've walked to and through Canfield Green multiple like so many times in my life. So like it, yeah, it hits different for me too, for real. And I think going on to what you were saying, there's so many things I think that happened in St. Louis we didn't even realize was an issue till people from the outside came and were like, "The police do what here?" They like I literally had people from Amnesty International go, "The stuff y'all experience in Ferguson is the stuff they experience in like Syria, in like the Middle East, in like places that are like martial law." And I'm sitting there like, "Really?" They're like, "This is not normal." And I'm sitting there like, "Really?" And this is our lived experience. But let me not go. I don't want to stay there too long. But I was thinking to like you were talking about Linda Martell. When I listen to Yaya, I always think about Tina Turner. And with Tina Turner, I feel like it's the same thing. It's like I don't think that she got her due until she was like in her 40s for real. Much like me, I said, when she decided I'm going to do it on my own, and even then, we still try to make her a punchline about domestic violence, which is why I feel like she felt like she had to move to Switzerland because it's like y'all won't ever take my life seriously. You will not act like the violence I experience matters. You act like it's a joke because of a movie, and it's like that's wild to me. Like even us, not even talking about white people, I'm talking about us. We don't respect the life lived by these black women who are trailblazers, and that's wild to me. That is wild as hell to me.
No, even in hindsight, I think there were some people like when Tina Turner passed, like even as impactful as she was, even in Beyonce's life, right? But then they were like in that same breath, like you're doing this tribute, but then if you perform Drunk in Love, Jay-Z has a line that says eat the cake Anna Mae, where
Right.
it again
Exactly.
goes back to we know what happened in that scene. We saw it in the movie where, so it's like, I don't think the two can coexist. Because I remember the first time I heard that and I was just like, wait, Beyonce is a Tina Turner fan. Does she know how disrespectful this is to her? Like how triggering this could be for her if she listens to this album? And people can say that it's just the line. It was him playing with words. I was like, no, no, no. Every time we hear that line, we go to that scene in that movie, in that diner.
We know exactly what it's referencing. Exactly what it's referencing. Yeah. I don't know if she thought about it then, but I'm willing to bet that she's thought about it since, which is why you really don't hear that song no more. Like when she performs.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total perfect sense. In hindsight, now I wonder. we'll call Tina after this and ask Aunt Tina. So, but even with Yaya, like you said, like it has that Tina Turner feel, opening song feel. But even what's the one where it's like like what is the song? Oh my god, is it Oh Louisiana? Yeah, I think it's Oh Louisiana. Because it, like you said, it goes back to that psychedelic sounding and that we experienced earlier in the album. And Beyonce's like, da, 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 but the sound
Yeah.
sounds like you ain't uh uh
Oh, you're talking about Desert Eagle. You talking about Desert Eagle sounds like Tell Me Something Good.
yes, tell me something good.
Sorry.
It gives me tell me something good.
No, I'm saying I never heard that till you said it. Not you said I go, yes.
But which would make sense. As you said, it segues into Renaissance.
Mm.
So it would make total sense for this sound to line up with that. I just thought about that.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. Beyonce definitely made sense for this to be Act One as a
Mm.
whole, but then I understand her reasoning behind flipping it. And like
Mm.
you said, even still with that ding at the end of Amen, and then you cue up I'm that girl. Even if you did from Blackbird to even now, again, you get this amen, you get this sort of, you know, nothing is, never be the same. And,
Mm-hmm.
as it goes back to the same thing as American Requiem and these,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't that, but you know what? What is gonna be that is I'm that girl. And because I'm always gonna stand up for me and my
Right.
people,
Please,
I'm always
motherfuckers
gonna
ain't stopping me. Please, motherfuckers ain't stopping me. Please, motherfuckers ain't stopping. It's really that. It gives that.
Beyonce. You're just a
Mhm.
genius.
That was literally my thought. Like, is Summer Renaissance going to somehow actually bleed into Act Three in a way that we didn't really see coming? But you're yes. I would if we had to sum it up, Beyonce is a genius. People are gonna look at me crazy for saying, but I feel like there's a level of intentionality. There's a level of cross referencing and tying and connecting things that you won't even see on the first pass, but you'll catch down the road. That you cannot deny this woman is a thinking artist. You can't deny that.